orthodox treatment, particularly when a committee works on it and says, this is the orthodox text, all the others are heretical. And that always comes later, at a later stage, when a committee works on something. So we have when a text becomes written, you can't really sort of, it doesn't really float around so much, move around. In any event, so this is the world Muhammad comes into, and there are rabbis there. Now, I was talking about the scrolls and the Dead Sea. If you know anything about the Dead Sea, what is the agriculture in the Jericho area, which is at the top of the Dead Sea? No, it's flat. It's in the ravine already. You come down from the hills into the flat area. It's Palm Springs. Jericho is a mini Palm Springs. And the Dead Sea is a mini, what's that sea south of Palm Springs? That's, what's it called? It's a mini Salton Sea. In other words, what takes us 100, 150 miles is all collapsed in the Mediterranean coastline into about 60 miles, 50 miles, actually. You go up from the coast up to some ridge line where Jerusalem is, and then down into a rift, which is the deepest rift in the world, 1,500 feet below sea level. And you drop 1,500 feet below sea level precipitously from Jerusalem. You drop down within the space of 20 miles. So Jerusalem is at the top of the ridge, a commanding sort of fortress city, really, that commands both sides of the ridge, the one dropping down to the Dead Sea Rift and the one dropping down to the coastal plain. But down in the rift is a totally different climate from up on the hills. You can be in Jerusalem, 2,000 feet above sea level. It's not like the mountains here behind Pasadena or something, 8,000 feet. It's only 2,000 feet or so. Although when you get the difference between the Dead Sea, it's 3,500 feet. You can be up at 2,000 feet. It can be raining and snowing. You know, it does snow in Jerusalem. It can be horrible cold. The bones can be, shot through with, uncomfortable feeling of being cold and rain sodden. And then you go down, in about 25 minutes, you can drive down the hill if no terrorists are shooting at you and trying to put bullets in your car. You can drive down the hill, and you can be in the Dead Sea Valley Rift, and it's temperate. It's almost warm. It's like Palm Springs. And there are tropical things growing there, like palm trees. And what they mainly cultivate down in the Dead Sea area and Jericho are date palm plantations. And that's it. They have fruit stands, just like out in Palm Springs, where they're selling all these exotic fruits down there because of the weird climate. It's way down in this rift, and it's warm. And it doesn't rain much down there like it does up on the hills. It's so weird. And like you can see out there, I don't know the fruit, but dates and figs, and of course oranges of all kinds and grapefruits. But they also have these things called pomelos, which are kind of, you have them in Palm Springs now, which are kind of a mixture of an orange and a grapefruit. They're quite tasty, and they're really good. But these are the kinds of things you'll see there, which is just like what you see in the fruit stands out in Palm Springs. And apparently back in the 20s or sometime in the early part of the last century, there was a blight out in Palm Springs, and the palm strings and the palm trees were affected, and many of them died. And when they went to replenish the Palm Springs out there, they went to the Jericho area and brought the trees, the saplings from Jericho, and replanted them in the Palm Springs area. And many of the trees, therefore, in the Palm Springs area are the same as in the Jericho area and have the same kind of root or origin, particularly the palm trees. Well, these areas down in Medina, I thought I wasn't going to get back, but I am, where these people are functioning here. There are these rabbis, and there's a Jewish tribe. But how did the Jewish tribe get down to Medina? That's the question in the 400s. Well, these are date palm plantationing areas. These are oases surrounded by date palm plantation. And Medina is a date palm plantationing town. Some of the Arab historians say that the tribesmen, that the Jews there came from Jericho and brought, of course, the cultivating habits with them from Jericho. Do I believe that? Yeah, I do believe that. And I think that, that the Dead Sea Scroll people were also inhabiting this area along the Dead Sea Rift, where Jericho is and where all this was going on in this plantation. And I'm sure that in the war against the Romans, the ones who weren't killed or taken prisoner and sold as slaves or crucified fled southwards. And some of them may have gotten down to these oases, and I think they probably did. And they brought with them these skills and knowledge and techniques, because they weren't, you see, Bedouins. Bedouins are not interested in such things. Bedouins are not date palm plantationers. The Arab tribes are not date palm plantationers. They're nomadic and they're caravanners. But the people who settle in the oases probably had a lot of connection with refugee Jews from the Jericho area, and even in Medina. So there are 3 Jewish tribes, which means they've been there for quite a long time. All the Arab historians tell you that. And one of the tribes, they say, is actually priestly. Now, what does it mean for there to be a priestly Jewish tribe? It's almost impossible to understand what that means. He says that these rabbans, I think, are from the Banu Qurayza, one of the names of one of the tribes. The Arab historians and the biographers of the Prophet know the names of the 3 Jewish tribes that are in Medina, because they will figure in the history of the Prophet and his relations with the people of Medina when he goes there, and the difficulties he has, particularly with the Jewish tribes of Medina, as far as he's concerned, because they have more information about the things of which he's speaking than the local people do, and they are not excited or happy about his claims. It would be like me, with my view, going into the Crystal Cathedral down in what's it called, Crystal Palace, Crystal Cathedral, what's it called? Going down to one of those